China never had freedom of speech, as long as I remember, since 1949. The CCP didn't allow freedom of speech, freedom of media, freedom of expression. No, none. All the publishing houses in China are government-owned. All the universities are government-owned. And social media, they don't allow Chinese people access social media outside of China. We call the Great Iron Wall of China. And they block everything. And before, people still could use VPN and some other software to be on Google products like Instagram or YouTube or Facebook. But now that's become illegal activities. And they have their own social network and social media, very advanced, very convenient. But every single thing you say or write on it is monitored by the government. And also, everything you posted there become the property of Chinese government. For instance, TikTok. The world is crazy about TikTok, but they don't know. They didn't read the fine print. Everything you post there, even before you post it, when you were editing, even the things you deleted, TikTok have the technology to keep it and in their archive. And the fine print says those all the property of Chinese government. And they have thousands, tens of thousands of people hired to monitor everybody's activity on social media. For example, my friend was telling me two people were chatting in China, and then suddenly, one person said, "Why don't you answer my question?" And the other person said, "What's your question? I didn't see your question." And then A will say, "Okay, I took a screenshot of his question to B. B took a screenshot on his phone. He never received it. So the Chinese government can even hijack part of your conversation before it reached to the other side." And that's how they realized. They said, "Oh my goodness, they took it away, even in the middle of it." And also, prisoners in China are used to be internet police. They're highly motivated because if more people they catch saying, we call them sensitive words, and the better chance they get to be released from prison earlier, shorten their sentences. And most of my friends who dare to talk different opinions or criticize the government, their social media account get shut down almost daily, and they will be forbid to use it for a month, a week, and whatever, or forever. And most people don't want to say anything anymore, but some brave ones, especially if they are not working for the government, their job is not threatened, they still talk. And I'm in many, many chat groups in China. Every day they say, "Please don't say anything sensitive. Please don't do this, don't do that." Some just every third day they have to open a new account and re-establish a chat group because the government shut them down. And the other day, my friend posted a video. I want to take a look. And what did she post it? So I clicked it. It says, because this contents violate the national security law, so it's blocked. So I sent it, I screenshot that warning. I sent it back to her. I said, "It's gone." She said, "What? I only posted 3 minutes ago." So you have to use lightning speed to read things if somebody else posted. You know they're mostly maybe controversy, but what they're posting all the truth. For example, that was got shut down was the Russia military aggression in Ukraine. Even those things got censored and blocked in China. And I have a friend who's a very famous Chinese scholar, ancient Chinese script scholar, a professor in one of the universities in Beijing. He also published many books, like 7 books or something. And one day he contacted me, he said, can you help me leave China? I said, what happened? He said his university spent 4 years collecting everything he ever posted and cut and paste the words and group them into sentences that he criticized the Cultural Revolution. He was just saying we need to rethink about it. We have to reflect. These are horrible things. Our intellectuals, we need to reflect on these. Just because of that, they've spent 4 years, somebody spent 4 years collecting all his words and then fired him from the university, and his wife's job also lost. They threatened his wife's company to fire his wife. His child, I met him, his child was only 5 years old. It's ready to go to school, but there's going to be no school accepting him. His life ended. His parents are threatened. So fortunately, he got a researcher position in Japan with one of the universities, because I couldn't help him in the United States because his specialty was ancient Chinese scripts. So those things happen daily. I know most of the professors in China who are free market economists. Most of them don't allow to teach. You have your job at the university and you get paid, but they don't let you have any student. Especially those professors who are supposed to be advisors for PhD students. They haven't gotten any students for years, but they get paid salary. And so what they could do now is to sell their private lessons. For example, the reading of Hayek or Mises, they sell very little on internet, but they were very good professors. So that's how they make living, or their wives have a private businesses, support a family. But they're still there doing it, translating books, writing books. And some, they got their PhDs in the United States and Germany and Denmark. They went back to China because they thought they could do something, but now they all regret that they couldn't leave anymore because the Chinese government hold their passport. You are not allowed to keep your passport at home because your workplace said, if we keep your passport, it's safer. And one professor, his daughter lives in New York, and his daughter has children already. So he's a grandfather. He wants to visit his daughter. In China, there's only one child per family. That's his own child, only child. And his grandchildren, every year, he has to plead with his workplace, say, I'm going to visit my daughter. Please let me have my passport. And sometimes when I invite him to talk outside of China, he said, I already used my only chance to leave China this year to see my daughter. And sometimes they just, one time I invited a scholar, a lawyer, to United States. And I said, how did you get out? He said, this morning, my husband went to the university telling the university my wife is really sick. And the doctor said he had to stay home for 10 days. So she went to United States and attended the conference we organized. And she said, I have to deal with it when I go back because they may check on me, come to my house. Because when they come to your house to check, they don't knock on the door. They don't ask for permission. They don't call you first. They just break the door by force and just see if you're inside or not. And now it's even worse because, Shanghai is total locked down for more than a month. People not allowed to go out. One typical situation, this wife is really sick. The husband wants to take her, and so call to the hospital and call the ambulance. And the ambulance say, we will come to get you, but the hospital will not allow you to go in unless you have COVID. She said, I have a heart attack. I don't have a COVID, but you cannot go in. I will take you to the hospital. I will drop you off in front of the hospital, but I cannot get you into the hospital. But the husband thought, well, I don't think the hospital emergency room will say no to a person about to die. They're elderly. Those are on tapes, on the video, on camera. It's not just saying. So he thought we're going to take a chance. So when they're leaving their building, the security there said, once you leave your building, you're not allowed to come back home. So they thought they're going to go to the hospital, so they went. The video was showing the ambulance just dropped the stretcher on the ground in front of the hospital and left. And the hospital guard said, you cannot come in. And they were crying, they're pleading, and they said, no, you cannot come in. And then he said, we cannot go home either because we were told, once you left your home, you cannot go back. What are we going to do? And then the doctor said, it's not our business. And so the old man was crying, dragging the stretcher, and the hospital guard said, you can't take the stretcher because that's the property of the hospital. You have to walk away. And he said, how can we walk away? My wife cannot walk. She's about to die. And that's the end of the video because somebody, Kim, stopped them shooting the video. So that's the typical situation in China right now. People are starving, and families, one family, 3 people, one child, a parent, they couldn't take it anymore. Whole family jump off the building, kill themselves together. It happens every day. So Shanghai hasn't ended yet. Beijing is about to start. So to me, this is a very, very sad situation, but maybe these kind of crazy behavior will awaken people. They will start questioning. Because in China, they don't say we manage the pandemic. In the West, we say we manage. China say we fight. So they think they can fight the pandemic and eliminate it. That's the typical of communist way of thinking. They think God didn't make the world good enough. The man have to change, correct God's mistake, and be better than God. That's the communist way of thinking. So they're trying to eliminate the pandemic, the virus. Today, the Chinese people, because they're so brainwashed by the government, they don't even know the difference between virus and germs. The way they're trying to eliminate the virus is by killing all the germs. That's totally 2 different things. That's just showed us how stupid the government is. And they're just trying to tell Chinese people, especially they started intentionally after Putin sent the army and bombed Ukraine. Putin did it with collaboration with Xi Jinping after the Beijing Olympic. So they're all planned, very well planned. So the Chinese government is telling Chinese people, see what we can do to you. Shanghai, you're the richest city in the world, not just in China, but I can starve you in 5 days. You're on your knee to beg me. So that's their political method. And I feel so sorry for the Chinese people, and not many people dare to leave. I met a couple who escaped from Shanghai 2 weeks ago. And because they use their brain, they're smart enough, they have a passport in their hand. But most Chinese people didn't even know they have the option, or they didn't think they could do that. So they were just waiting to die right now.